There is a quiet revolution happening in fashion right now, and it doesn't sound like whispered logos or beige coats. It sounds like laughter in a dorm room, the rustle of a pleated skirt, the jiggle of a low-heeled shoe. It sounds like Miu Miu, not as a label, but as a language. Tonight we're going to unpack that language, what Miu Miu is really selling, why the world is listening, who is buying, and what this all means for the story of luxury in 2025. Miu Miu is not merely a house, it is a point of view about femininity. While the industry has spent the last decade worshipping restraint, soft neutrals, invisible logos, the ritual of quiet luxury, Miu Miu has insisted upon contradiction. It dresses innocence in swagger. It borrows from schoolgirl memories and stitches them into a very adult strut. That tension between nostalgia and provocation, softness and agenda, is the engine driving its cultural velocity. To understand why Miu Miu matters now, we have to look back. Miu Miu was born as a counterpulse to its elder sibling. It was created to flirt with the unruly, to let fashion keep its sense of mischief. Over the years, it became less a boutique rebellion and more a masterclass in cultural timing. The brand learned to sell an aura more than a dress, a mood you could wear to feel known, not just admired. So what is Miu Miu selling today? It's offering a very precise emotional product, a packaged permission to be both vulnerable and performative, to look like you woke up half ready and still walked in like you owned the room. That is a rare promise. It feels intimate. It feels like belonging to a secret club where the rules are half playful and half ritual. There's a psychological trick here. Humans anchor identity to objects. We crave signals that tell the world who we are without explaining ourselves. Miu Miu does this by trading in coded cues, undone hems, kitten heel silhouettes, ribbons, little bows, a kind of curated imperfection that reads as effortless even when it is anything but. It tells the beholder, I am charming, I am complicated, I am worth noticing. Contrast that with the whisper campaign of quiet luxury. Quiet luxury sells mastery through absence. A quiet label, a perfect seam, a hushed price tag. It appeals to a different hunger, a hunger for classic, for permanence, for the impression of a life that arrived fully formed. Miu Miu answers a different hunger. It is for those who want to feel like they are still writing themselves into the world. For many young people, that is irresistible. Who are the people buying into Miu Miu's language? It's not the cliché of only influencers or only elites. The core adopters are creatives and their admirers. Photographers, stylists, art students, people who work in rooms where appearance is both currency and storytelling. They are not always wealthy, they are aspirational. They buy the idea that clothing can help them perform identity with confidence. This is why Miu Miu's cultural penetration feels organic. It travels through communities where visibility is earned through taste rather than money alone. But Miu Miu also reached beyond that core. The brand became a bridge. It allowed collectors and the quietly affluent to taste a different kind of cachet, one that whispered, I understand culture rather than I can afford price. That is a powerful shift. It democratizes a kind of cultural capital and, paradoxically, makes the brand more desirable to both the aspirational and the established. It becomes the new inside joke. If you know, you know. Why now? There are larger social currents pushing this movement. In 2025, we have seen a cultural recalibration. The performative flash of social media gave way for many to a craving for sincerity and intimacy. People want to be seen for tastes that feel authentic, not for billboard gestures. At the same time, economic anxieties made overt displays of wealth look tone deaf. Miu Miu's paradox, playful, slightly subversive, not loudly expensive, answers both impulses. It suggests status without shouting. It's nimble, culturally literate, and very good at making small things feel meaningful. There's also a gendered nuance here. Miu Miu is rewriting the grammar of femininity. For decades, the script had been binary. Take off the armor or keep it on. Miu Miu blends both. The brand allows vulnerability to be a form of strategy. It reframes softness as strength. That is why its imagery resonates, because it offers a modern model of womanhood that is allowed to be contradictory. Tender and ambitious, playful and exacting. This has consequences for how luxury is read. When a house like Miu Miu becomes a cultural reference point, it shifts where people look for meaning. Luxury stops being only about legacy craftsmanship and starts being about narrative agility. That does not mean craftsmanship disappears. There are still artisans, leathers, ateliers, but the conversation expands. People care not only for how something is made, but for what it says about them in the present. Now let's be honest about the tensions. When cultural desirability rises quickly, scarcity becomes a commodity and speculation follows. A brand that was once intimate can become crowded. The danger is twofold: dilution and misinterpretation. When everyone chases the aesthetic without understanding the nuance, the original magic, the careful wink of Miu Miu, can flatten into pastiche. The house must guard its identity fiercely while staying relevant. That balancing act is the challenge for any brand that moves from cult to cultural. What does this mean for the rest of fashion? For older houses, Miu Miu's ascent is a wake-up call. It is a demonstration that younger consumers are not merely buying products, they are buying a worldview. Legacy houses will adapt in different ways. Some will lean into their archives and tell their histories more beautifully. Others will borrow youthful language and risk losing their identity. The smart ones will do both, preserve the craft and update the voice. And then there's the industry effect. Retail strategy, storytelling and community building matter as much as the collection. The brands that understand their customers' psychology, who they want to be and why, will win. It's not enough to design well. You must narrate exquisitely. A practical moment here: if you enjoy this kind of deep dive where we treat fashion as culture, psychology and social history, then you'll want more than a single video essay. That's precisely why we are building GTWJ Mag, a place for longer reads, for interviews with insiders, for analysis that isn't rushed by algorithms. We'll explore these shifts with nuance, archival knowledge, and the kind of curiosity that treats fashion as a language we all speak. If you love the way we talk, that warm, honest, slightly conspiratorial tone, the magazine will feel like coming home. Back to Miu Miu. What are the lessons here for how to dress and think about style? First, context matters. An item means different things depending on where you wear it and how you wear it. Second, authenticity wins. A cardigan worn because you love it will always read better than a trend worn as armor. Third, layering is emotional as much as physical. The pieces that invite curiosity, a cuff peeking, a scarf half-tied, are the ones that start conversations. Prediction time. Over the next 2 years, Miu Miu's influence will continue to ripple. We'll see a proliferation of smaller houses adopting its playful undertow. We'll also see established maisons respond with their own soft power moves. The true winners will be brands that can hold contradiction, that can be both narrative-driven and impeccably made. Consumers will reward nuance over spectacle, and brands that understand that shift will survive and thrive. But the cultural arc is not a simple victory lap. There will be backlash, accusations of commodifying innocence, debates about appropriation of girlhood aesthetics, questions about who benefits when a youthful language is monetized. Those are necessary dialogues. They keep the conversation honest. Fashion does not exist in a vacuum. It reflects power, anxiety, desire. We have to name both the beauty and the complications. So, what should you take away? If you're watching this and you care about how clothes make you feel, remember, fashion is an instrument of selfhood. Brands like Miu Miu show us that style can be tender and tactical at once. It can be a way to hold history and still look forward. The most luminous outfits are never found in a store alone. They are assembled in the interplay between garment and memory, between who you were and who you choose to become. We will continue to watch this brand and others like it with curiosity. We will ask the difficult questions about value, authenticity, and power. We will celebrate what moves us and critique what doesn't. This channel exists because fashion matters, not as frivolity, but as a way we make sense of who we are. If this resonated with you, tell us why. Tell us how your relationship with style has changed in the last year. If our ideas felt like something you want more of, that's exactly why GTWJ Mag is coming soon, to bring the deeper reads, the interviews, the researched essays that make fashion feel like thinking. Thank you for listening. You are why we speak with both tenderness and clarity. You are why we refuse to reduce fashion to surface-level gossip. Together we will keep asking the beautiful, honest questions that make this world more interesting and more human. And there is more, because Miu Miu's story is not finished at the runway. Its real power lives in the small, strategic moves that make culture feel like it has shifted overnight. Consider the brand's rhythms, capsule drops that feel intimate, casting that privileges expression over polish, imagery that reads less like advertising and more like a diary. Those choices are not accidents, they are choreography, quiet, deliberate, designed to make you feel like you were always invited, even if you only just found the door. Miu Miu's casting is instructive. The faces it elevates are rarely the conventional parade of perfect symmetry. Instead, they are chosen for specificity, a look, a gait, an attitude. This is a radical tactic in a market where perfection has become predictable. The effect is magnetic. Viewers see themselves in the margins and suddenly want to belong to that margin. That sense of belonging is the brand's soft engine. It creates loyalty without loudly demanding it. Look too at how Miu Miu works with collaborators. There is a pattern of pairing with directors, musicians, and artists whose work complicates the idea of femininity. Those partnerships feel less transactional and more like cultural alliances. They expand the brand's vocabulary so that a bag, a film short, and a playlist can all tell the same story from different angles. That cross-disciplinary narrative is increasingly what modern consumers want, a multi-sensory, multi-platform life they can inhabit, not just a product they can buy. Retail strategy matters as well. Miu Miu often treats its boutiques like micro-exhibitions, carefully edited, theatrical, a place to linger rather than to rush. That physical intimacy is a counterpoint to the scroll economy. When a brand makes the store a place of discovery, it reminds customers why in-person experience still matters. The result is twofold. It builds mythic value around pieces bought in store, and it trains a generation to see commerce as culture. Then there is the resale conversation. Miu Miu's aesthetic is highly visible on secondary markets and across social feeds, but resale doesn't always erode desirability the way it does for other labels. That's because the brand's offerings are judged not only by rarity but by emotional resonance. Someone will buy a second-hand Miu Miu dress because it carries a language they want to speak, a language that is never fully neutralized by ubiquity. Still, the brand must navigate this carefully. If availability becomes the only story, the allure fades. Scarcity without soul is a hollow thing. We should also watch how the brand seasons its codes. Trends are cyclical, but cultural codes mutate. A bow in 2026 won't mean the same as a bow in 2016. Miu Miu's intelligence is its subtle updating. It recasts familiar motifs through new silhouettes, unexpected textures, and editorial positioning that makes nostalgia feel contemporary rather than retro. That alchemy of referencing the past while telling a different present tense story is a rare creative strength. The consumer psychology behind this is simple and profound. Humans are storytellers who wear their narratives. Miu Miu sells chapters, not just clothes. Buyers aren't merely purchasing a skirt, they are purchasing the right to add a new line to their personal script. That's why the brand's items feel like small rebellions. They are intimate acts of self-definition in a world that often demands conformity. But again, there is a necessary critique. Cultural movements that start as intimate pleasures can be swallowed by industry momentum. Miu Miu must resist two temptations: overextension and dilution. Overextension means licensing its name until the signal-to-noise ratio collapses. Dilution means flattening the very contradictions that made it interesting. The house's future depends on selective boldness, choosing the small, sharp moments that feel like art, rather than the broad strokes that read like market chasing. What should designers and brand strategists learn from this? First, invest in nuance. The market that values nuance is growing. People who prize complexity over homogeneity will pay for it and will evangelize it. Second, cultivate communities rather than audiences. A community defends your brand in ways paid media cannot. Third, let your contradictions breathe. Authenticity often lives in unresolved tensions. For the committed fan, whether you own one piece or 10, Miu Miu asks for attention, not obedience. It invites you to play with persona, to practice small experiments in identity. And that is the most modern promise any label can make: style as practice, not property. As the story continues, the most interesting question isn't whether Miu Miu will remain desirable. It almost certainly will. But how the brand will steward its cultural capital. Will it stay a carefully tended secret that ripples through tastemakers? Or will it become a mainstream script that everyone reads but few truly understand? The answer will tell us a lot, not just about Miu Miu, but about how fashion itself keeps reinventing the language of belonging. If you look closely at the ripples Miu Miu makes, you begin to see a larger map. A fashion ecosystem shifting from status as spectacle towards status as story. That is the era we are living through, and the brands that learn to tell better stories with restraint, wit, and emotional precision will define the next chapter of style. And if there is one thing I want you to take from this, it's this. The brands we love are reflections of the version of ourselves we are still becoming. Miu Miu may be on every feed, every runway, every resale page right now, but its real legacy isn't in trend charts or sales targets. It's in the way it has reminded women, girls, and anyone who has ever felt too much or too soft that their contradictions are beautiful. That elegance and rebellion can exist in the same outfit. That vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a language. Fashion is shifting. Quiet luxury had its moment, maximalism had its counterattack, and now we stand at this new intersection where identity is the currency. Miu Miu didn't just design clothes for this era, it designed a mindset. A mindset that whispers, I am who I am, and I'm still becoming. Thank you for being here, for thinking with me, for feeling with me. This channel is not just about fashion, it's about culture, psychology, and the stories we wear. And together, we are going to navigate this new era of luxury, of influence, of identity. I will see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay intentional, and as always, dress like you're writing your own masterpiece.